Okay. Has wear a mask had more potency this week? Do you think?
Perhaps. Should we just take a moment and breathe?
Everybody take a collective, centering, deep breath. Not much going on. I'm gonna debut my RBG t-shirt. Here we go.
Go, girl. Nice. Hi, Dana. Oh, that is so awesome.
Nice.
Okay.
Redbubble.com.
That's it. I'm going to put it up here. Redbubble.com.
You can find any kind of political anything on it, and it's made by artists, and more money goes to the artist. It's really a cool, like, next level Etsy thing. It's super cool.
Cool.
I didn't know that. The Gen Z told me. I didn't know.
Well, mine says organizing works, and it's Planned Parenthood.
Yay. Mine says grown, but it's about 6 years old, so it's faded and you can't see it. But it did.
We're all good.
I got all gussied up for you today.
You look
nice.
I
had two shout outs today. One was to Lisa, my dear sister, who does these amazing Instagram posts every single day. She just makes those completely up out of her head and adds the music, and they are all so fabulous. I don't know anyone on earth for 190. What episode are you on now?
72.
Yeah, I think something like that.
So I don't know anybody who could come up with something so creative every single day. So kudos to you.
Woo! Today was I Am Woman, Helen Reddy. Can we just
baby?
That was our youth, the song of our youth. The song of our youth.
It was. We had every album.
She was channelizing, organizing works, because this is my Planned Parenthood T-shirt.
What an amazing woman! What's a really big?
Is there a really big influence in the 70s?
And my second shout out is just to both of you for, despite the world ending, you have managed to continue every day to cook for us and keep us entertained and focused.
Aw,
thank you.
Aw, shucks, Holly, thanks.
Aw, we're sending it right back.
So thank you. It's been an out of body experience 4 days. On the news cycle, and I'm really feeling the weight of it all, and I know everybody just feels like we're in this snow globe that nobody will stop cooking. So it's bad if I'm baking because I don't bake. I never bake. I'm not that great at it, so that's a great intro to me watching me teach you how to cook today.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so this should be good. Actually, the good news is these kind of have a savory element to them, and they are really easy. So I wouldn't make anything that was complicated in the baking department.
Unlike Lisa with her attack on cream puffs last night.
I mean, that was impressive. That was really impressive.
That was awesome.
This is just like
I kind of had a mini breakdown afterwards, thinking, "Oh my God, I failed everyone." But here's the thing that the kids reminded me, and Morse reminded me, we're human and we try, and that's the most important thing. And on Corona Kitchen, that's the whole basis of this.
No judgment.
Yes.
You know what? You desiring something, you know what? You could try it. And you know what? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if it does, great. If not, you just make it into something else and you eat it anyway.
Or if
try it again.
Or just, what's in the freezer? I'm doing tortellini tonight for the kids and muffins. That's what we're having. We do.
Yay.
We've done
Sounds
this.
good.
We do this
And again, Peggy reminds us, failure builds character.
It does.
Oh, well,
and I picked myself back up. I put the choux pastry in the fridge. It altered it. and I made decent ones that I'm going to bring by Debriana's house after the show tonight, and she will eat them with David. But you know, I hurt a little, but it's okay. It's like, who cares? Like, who cares? You know?
No,
We don't care.
and the thing is, if you were your own kid, you wouldn't say that to yourself. You would say, failure builds character.
And you know what? Guess what?
When are you going to give Peggy her own show? Like, when is she you need to have her on here weekly.
She's a guest star. She's a guest star. You know,
we were laughing with that hammer. When she brought that hammer onto the thing, I was like, Bella's like, oh my God, we were howling laughing. So we love you, Peggy. Thank you for being so loyal.
So Peggy,
so funny.
Peggy, I did figure it out. So I learned, you'll see from the pictures, everyone, they inhaled them. They were so good. So it really wasn't a failure. I was just being hard on myself.
She was panicking. She was not channeling her inner Lisa at that moment.
You're allowed to have
right now. I don't know why. I don't know why everybody's on edge. It's really weird. Just
anxiety.
All right. So we ready to do some bacon?
Breathe into our muffins.
Muffins. I love muffins.
So Lisa said we needed to do some more breakfasty, brunchy types of foods.
Cool.
Happy to oblige. So this is a very amended recipe because, of course, I had to put my Hollie's homegrown spin on it. So I love savory. I'm not a super sweets person, although I have to say in the last year, I probably eat more chocolate than I have in my entire life because it's sort of a comfort mechanism. My COVID-15, like everybody. But so I added some, I did not put chocolate in this. I need to take a break. I ate a lot last night. It wasn't pretty. So I'm doing all my favorite spices. So cinnamon, and I've got some actual nutmeg, the little nuts that we're going to freshly grate. Because if you haven't ever done this, once you do it, you won't go back. It's so
That's
great.
What we do.
Right.
And then one of my most favorite spices is cardamom. I love cardamom. A tiny, teeny bit goes a very, very long way. I mistakenly misread a teaspoon for a tablespoon or something once, and I had to toss it. So I also am going to do a little different. We're going to add some nuts to this because I love nuts. So we're going to do some pecans because, of course, they pair beautifully with apples. But I'm also going to add some macadamians because if I can't have chocolate, I'd like to have some macadamia nuts because they are absurdly indulgent and high in fat. So
yeah. So you might as well just have added the chocolate. I'm just saying.
So we're just going to throw the whole bag in. We're going to throw the whole bag in, and I'll worry about it. We're not rolling anything. I do my rolling pin today because I have a few aggressions to take out. So I'm just going to whack this stuff right in the bag. I'm not even going to put it in my
Get
chocolate.
out the stress with the rolling pin.
That's it.
Get it out. Okay. So there's also, if you haven't tried this is my other plug for the day. Red Mill. Have you ever had Bob's Red Mill? Fantastic.
I use it. Yeah.
Just amazing. And now they seem to be everywhere. They used to be hard to really find, but now they're even in our Safeway. So if you're doing gluten-free, this is their flour that is called 1-to-1 baking flour. And I swear to God, if you just replace this for a cup of flour, hence the name 1-to-1, you're gluten-free and you're good to go. So this is I was actually going to make, once I'm done with these, I was going to make a batch with this and compare them and have a little sort of taste comparison with the kids.
Oh, good.
To see what we are.
Yeah.
So this is a very, these types of products and the quality of Bob's Red Mill, you don't have to worry. Again, as far as you'll have a great gluten-free option for something kind of, nice and decadent. Because that's something you miss, right? If you can't have gluten. Okay, so that's enough talking. So let's talk baking. Okay, so we're going to do, I like to use the little muffin thingies. It makes it easier. It's less messy.
Oh, yeah.
Are those silicone?
You can buy silicone. These are paper.
Okay. I couldn't tell.
If I baked a lot, I would definitely invest in the silicone. I've probably had these in my spice cabinet for, 9 years. So I don't use them.
True confessions. I have muffin paper collection because I'll see them throughout the year and I just buy them because I love to bake. And,
I use them at Christmas when I do my Christmas cookies. So I hoard the Christmas ones.
Oh, you're the one that does that at the store.
I'm the one.
Okay.
If you go in the store and you can't find the Christmas ones, it's because I have them.
Got it. All right. Well, it's not me because I don't bake, but we're gonna bake it. Okay. So, all right, we're gonna do.
These are called I don't bake spice muffins. Apple spice.
This is called. I'm just trying to cope. Okay, people. I'm gonna eat my way through the next 24 days. Okay. So one thing I do know about baking is that it's really important to do one bowl for dry and one bowl for wet. So I'm going to follow that basic rule, and we're going to start with the dry. So we're going to do a cup of flour, all-purpose.
You're not going to smooth that off, Holly? You're not going to...
Come on.
Little Martha Stewart there?
Is there science in baking?
I'm looking away.
There's no science in baking. Okay. So that's one of the
Nobody believes in science anymore. Jeez.
These may be baseballs. They may be baseballs, not muffins. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how we turn out. Okay. So when I first
whoever said that muffin paper has no expiration date, I just thought you might need to know that.
So we can go in my spice museum. Excellent. Okay.
Okay.
So I got flour. Then we're gonna do sugar. So I'm gonna I did amend this recipe so that we only are gonna do half sugar and then we're gonna do half honey. Because I love honey and I love the flavor of honey. And I think the honey with the apples and all of the spices is nice. But we're gonna go ahead and do some of the sugar. So we're gonna do half a cup of sugar, which is that's
like regular old white sugar?
Yeah, this is just granulated.
Okay.
This is organic cane. You get organic now. Please do. It's better for you. So we're going to do half a cup of that. And then we're going to do the honey. We're going to do a quarter cup of honey. And I'm going to use my rose petal honey just because.
Oh, nice.
Because why not? Because it's roses.
Because that's what you had in the pantry.
That's what we had. Okay. So I'm going to get.
Did you measure that?
I really did very quickly and very accurately.
Asking.
Okay. Are you asking for a friend? Okay. Next, we're going to add. Oh, we get to do the nuts next. Okay, good. So we're going to do a half a cup of pecan, depends what part of the country you come from, what you'd like to call them. And I'm
my ex's mother used to call them pecans.
Pecans.
That's Philadelphian.
That's like, are they from Pecania? That feels like that's a people from somewhere.
I'm having a Hollywood Square. Holly, I'm having a Hollywood Squares moment.
Woo!
Okay, so we're just gonna back these because we have a dressing to get out. Okay.
Yeah, we want smashing them in the bag.
Not
Take it out.
happy.
Take it out.
Get it out. Get it out.
I feel better already. Okay.
I knew you would. Oh, these are cathartic apple spice muffins.
These really are. These are eat your problems. Okay, muffins. Okay, so we're gonna get half a cup of these. I'm gonna get the chopped ones at the bottom.
It's a half a cup with her hand.
Yeah, her hand is a half a cup.
You didn't see that. You didn't see that. There's nothing to see
Someone's saying
okay.
this fictitious measuring going on. Come on.
It's Croatian measuring. Okay, now we're gonna whack the macadamia nuts because we can.
Okay. I love that.
Whack-a-mole.
You should
Whack-a-mole.
just put the macadamia nuts in chocolate and add them.
Wear a mask. Wear a mask. God damn it. I told you I'm not myself today. I'm really
okay. None of us are.
Really
I don't think
done.
anyone
I'm
is.
still healing from my facial. Look, you can see.
Debrianna burned herself yesterday with their acid.
I have to eat one of these macadamia nuts
Because no one believes in science anymore, Lisa. Hey, where's your name?
5 minutes doesn't seem long enough, but
No, it doesn't.
Okay,
It
we're
did.
gonna do the spices. We're gonna do the spices now because they're dry and they're not wet, so they're gonna go in here. Okay. So we're gonna do. I want to make sure I get this right. So it's a 3/4 of a teaspoon cinnamon.
Peggy is saying you need a hammer. I'm sure that's Peggy who's saying you need a hammer.
Peggy had some scary blunt instruments to tenderize the
She has
chicken
this
in our cook-along.
whole serial killer hammer. Yeah, if I used her hammer, it would break my granite. So I'm not going to do that. Okay.
If I had a hammer.
But you know what?
So this is what's fun about nutmeg, folks. Comes from a tree. It's a nut. Actually, it's a seed.
Her hammer did the job.
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
They smell so amazing. And then this is my nutmeg grater. This is new, right? New.
Oh, that's the old-fashioned one. I've had that one for years.
So you just, it's like being in a Creole band here, which sounds like one of those instruments they play. And this is going to be about a half a teaspoon, very precisely measured.
It's kind of like The Lion Sleeps Tonight. Do-wop, do-do-wop. In the jungle, the mighty jungle.
And if you look on the inside, these nuts, they're beautiful. They really are beautiful. And these will last a very long time. These can go in your spice museum.
And so how much was that? I'm just wondering how much of that.
It was a half a teaspoon.
Okay.
And we're going to do just a quarter of a teaspoon of cardamom, which I swear to God smells like perfume. We need to do an essential oil. I wonder, we must do one with this. Okay.
That's a good idea.
I love cardamom.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so this is a quarter teaspoon. So this is just a teeny tiny bit.
And cardamom is really good.
Oh, is that powder?
It is. This is a powder. I didn't do it from the pod.
Seed.
Cardamom.
Yeah, I have pods and I have seeds.
Cardamom is really great in breads. It really works well in bread.
It's so good. I actually put a little in my chili. It's kind of a little secret ingredient when you want just a tiny bit of that perfumey floral quality, which again, you have to be super careful not to overuse it. Okay, so that's all of our dry ingredient. I guess we'll mix it. Oh, I forgot my salt. I forgot my salt.
What is that? What is what? What are you asking about? Are you asking about cardamom person who said, what is that?
Cardamom,
what do you ask? Okay.
All we see is YouTube user.
I know. That's all we see on our end, YouTube
That's all
user.
we see.
Okay, so we did it. We did the flour, sugar, nuts, and the spices, right? In a separate bowl, we're going to do the eggs. Okay, so we've got 2 eggs.
Did you preheat the oven, Holly?
It's on. It is. I'm
Good
not a
job.
baker, but I know how to do that.
Good job.
All I know is cardamom comes in a little pod, and it's a little green pod, and there's tiny seeds in there. And the seeds inside the pod are what we're using. And I have a big thing of those seeds, and then I just pull out what I need and I grind it on the spot. But you can also buy the powder, and it's very, very fragrant.
It's very good. Okay. So we've got eggs. We're gonna do apples, oil, and water. So let's do the apples next. So the apples, what I really like about this recipe is that I'm actually going to, a lot of recipes say use applesauce, which is fine, but I like to taste the apples. The best part about all the cinnamon and the spices is if you can take a nice bite of apple with it. So I actually like to keep the peel on for this. This is a Granny Smith, which is a really nice tart apple. So I am not going to peel these, but I'm going to cut them in pretty small pieces because you want to get a little bite of one, but you don't want it to be an enormous chunk. So it's 2 cups of these, and it's about a cup per apple. So we're going to put 2 apples in here today. So this is going to be pretty chunky because remember, I only put a cup and a half of flour. So this is going to be a lot of apple in your mouth.
So
what kind of apple is that?
Granny Smith.
Oh, Granny Smith.
Granny
It's a Granny Smith?
Right?
Yeah, you can use. I like them
Why
tart.
don't you-
It's up to you. I don't know what.
Why don't you take off the skins, Holly? Why don't you take off the skins?
It's a total preference thing. I actually like. I kind of like the skins on them. I think it gives them a little more flavor. But you can absolutely peel it if it's not your thing. And it gives a little more texture, I think, too. But if it's not your thing. Don't worry about it. Just peel them.
Yes, it's a flower. It's the seed pod of a flower, and I think it's in the ginger family from cardamom.
Yeah, cardamom.
That's
Yeah,
what
they
that
kind of look like don't they look like orchids a little bit? Big orchids.
Yeah, they kind of do, like the stacky kind.
It's used in a lot of Middle Eastern food. It's a common spice.
I'm just gonna give the eggs a quick beat before I start putting this other stuff in.
Someone's asking a question. Someone's asking a question.
Yes.
Are some apples more juicy than others? I would
Yes.
say yes.
Apples are actually there are hundreds of varieties of apples. There is a wonderful organization here in California, whose name escapes me, but I will get it to you. God, I'm sorry, I can't remember. But one of the things they do is they preserve old apple varieties that have been grown in California and preserve trees that have survived for 50 or 60 years, and then they hybridize those because they have qualities of strong survival for insects. Because the problem is when you grow things on a large scale and you hybridize them in a conventional way, you take away a lot of the capacity for the plant to defend itself from disease and pests, infections. So when they find these plants, like say someone had a homestead in the late 1800s and they no longer live there, but there's still fruit trees around it that the family had planted. The ones that survive, they take those seeds and then they try to regrow those plants. And then,
that's great.
Yeah, it's a really neat. It's the oh God, now it's going to really bug me.
There's a bunch of things that do that. There was a company here that's called Seeds of Change, and they keep a lot of.
I used to work for them. I used to work for the original owners of Seeds of Change years ago.
I wanted to talk about a place. I don't know if you know about this, Debriana. It's called Tully's Trees in New Mexico.
No, where is it?
Oh my God. Okay, we have to go someday on a road trip there. It's up towards God, where is it? I want to say Tres Piedras. I'm not sure. It's up. You go towards Taos. You go towards Taos, and what it is this crazy guy who has gone all over the world. Not only has he tried to revive the indigenous fruit trees here in New Mexico and roses and flowers and stuff, but he'll go all around the world to find what would exactly grow in our alpine elevation. And then he plants them on this open mountain face in the elements so they can be really hardened off. And then he takes them out and you buy them. And it's kind of expensive, but it's super cool. He has botanists working from college and stuff. It's super crazy in a cool way. And you go there and you get these trees and they're so hardy. You plant them and they just thrive here in northern.
Yeah, I think my neighbors went there. They had gotten their fruit trees from him. I'm pretty sure that's who it was. And their plum tree and apple tree, they make fruit every single year.
It's a great way to if you live in in the neighborhood I live in here in Northern California, most of this neighborhood was platted in the late 50s and early 60s. And if you go around and we bought here 14 years ago. So if you're considering what fruits grow here and what thrives here, go look at your neighbors, go ask your neighbors, talk to the people in your neighborhood, and what is it that's still growing and thriving? I mean, we struggle with citrus here because we get some frost, but some varieties of lime really do well here. And some people have these 50-year-old lime trees. So pears were originally grown in our area. So there's a couple of things that really, it's Northern California. So a lot of great stuff grows here. But then you also can get an idea of the varieties that have survived also these.
I'm kind of obsessed with apples because I feel like all of the grocery store apples are hideous. When you go to apple orchards, like we have them here locally in Chimayo and other areas, and they're growing like 100-year-old wine saps and these varieties that are just heirloom and delicious and juicy and crunchy.
Yeah, they're really good.
You can smell the flavor. Like when you go to the grocery store, the apples are just ruined, in my opinion. Yeah. It's only the farmer's market, or if you have someone that has an orchard, like Morse's parents have apples in their orchard. They can't be beat. I mean, we have an apple tree. I love it.
apples are like tomatoes and so many other large scale operation agriculture where they will pick them too early. They grow them for cosmetic, for how they look. Like Red Delicious is one of the worst tasting varieties.
It's done. You can never find a good one.
And it's mostly because they don't pick it at the right time. They've grown it and hybridize it for cosmetics. And so, yeah, and then, they put the wax film on it so it's shiny. I mean, there's a lot of not great stuff that they do.
Like
so
my cat.
It's really great now. It seems like in the last few years there have been a lot of neat, especially at the farmers market. There's a big interest in more varieties of apples. So don't be afraid to experiment and try. And they really do come in, different textures, different colors. We had an apple the other day that we bought from a little basket, those little crab apples. It was hot pink inside. I'm not kidding. We cut it open and I was like,
remember, that's one of the ones that won the photo contest, was that pink apple. It was so beautiful.
Don't be afraid to try some new, and the flavors, the textures are all different. There's a huge range. So it's really pretty cool. Okay. So I've added the eggs and I also added vegetable oil, although I used the rest of my grapeseed oil from last week, from the chicken when we fried the chicken.
Oh, from the chicken.
So it's a light, nice oil. It doesn't have a lot of flavor, so it's fine to use with this. So, okay, so I've got that in the egg, and then I'm adding, what is my other liquid? Oh, so I decided to put a different.
How many eggs?
Two eggs. Okay. So I decided to do something different. You're supposed to add water, and I decided to make a little tea instead. So this is a great culinary tip. If you want to add a little flavor, but you don't want it to be really overpowering, it could be subtle. A lot of baking recipes, as it turns out, use Earl Grey, and they don't add Earl Grey because nobody wants to. Earl Grey has black tea in it, but it has that great bergamot flavor. So I do bergamot tea that comes from a mint plant. So I steeped some fresh bergamot in some water. It smells really good. So I'm going to use this little tea infusion that I made instead of your water. So sometimes when you're cooking or baking and you want to add a little flavor, it's a nice little tip to remember. It doesn't have to just be plain.
It's a great idea. I've never done that. I'm going to do that.
Well, it's a great idea. Yeah, I've done it before. I often forget, but that's a great thing to remember to do.
Forget. I've been.
So you're only putting in 1.5 tablespoons of this. So we're gonna do this now, because with the muffins you don't want to be runny. These are pretty hearty. Okay, so that's that. Okay, now we're gonna add the apples, and you can see I've chopped them up in pretty small pieces.
How many apples?
Yeah,
it's 2 cups of chopped apple pieces. Again, it's up to you how small you want them. I like them kind of chunky, but not too big, because again, these are going to be all in the mix. So we're just going to quickly mix this together. And then I think I should there you go. I'm going to pour this into the flour mixture with all the nuts. I didn't get all these nuts broken up here.
I like how it says Bella Alcalay.
I know. I forgot to fix that. Sorry.
It's Bella's computer. I finally got a new computer after 8 years, but I haven't set it.
I'm so happy your transmission is so much clearer for us.
It's way better today.
Okay, so we're putting the apple mixture in, and the other thing I do know about baking is you're not supposed to over mix the batter.
There you go.
So
you're not supposed to over mix.
Don't do it.
No, a lot of times with muffins you're not.
I think I'm going to use a
spatula.
Just
Incorporate.
Yeah, I think I'm going to use a spatula. So you just kind of dig down and turn. Just kind of dig down and turn. And keep going.
As if you're folding.
Folding.
Would also be known as a folding technique.
Nothing.
Nice. Oh, that's yummy.
That looks.
What's that?
That looks great.
I said nothing gets past you. You're too quick.
Does it smell good? Does it smell good?
It does. I can smell the cardamom. I'm so excited. Okay.
Oh, yay.
Want it to get, when they say just incorporate, it's basically so you don't see the white flour anymore. Because see how it's really kind of turning.
I want
This
to
is
make
very
tomorrow.
chunky. We got a ton of apples in here. And remember, if you're worried that this is not liquidy enough, there's a lot of water in those apples. So the second they get in the oven, those apples are going to release a lot of water once they start to bake. So that will make these, in theory, nice and light.
Okay, we'll see.
You know how when you watch the Great British Bake Off, they say you don't want a soggy bottom to your
Nobody
muffin.
wants a soggy bottom. You don't want a soggy bottom.
You don't want a
Nobody
soggy
wants
bottom.
a soggy bottom.
You don't want a soggy bottom. Okay. That would be trendy. Okay. Love that new, but now the new season. Oh my God, we just Bella and I.
I'm watching it. I'm on episode
So
2.
good. Okay, so I normally would use an ice cream scoop for this. But since my son apparently broke the big one, I have this little one, and I realized it's not going to work. So instead, we'll use the quarter cup.
How did you drink it?
He's 15. Because
I think never mind.
He eats
like
literally
ice
so
cream
much.
now?
He can't like.
Never mind.
I don't know. I don't ask. I don't want to know, quite frankly. Okay, so we're gonna. I'm gonna fill like a little quarter cup here, and then I'm gonna put each one.
That seems like a lot.
It does.
Are those giant muffins?
These are, but just remember, this is very. I mean, this is really thick stuff. This is not. These are gonna spread out.
Did you put like baking soda or anything in there?
Oh, you're right. Baking. I forgot the baking powder.
Okay. Well, you only did 2, so no harm, no foul.
See, that's why. Oh my God. Thank you.
Woo! Good.
Baker.
I had to go to my neighbor to get the baking powder because I didn't have one. Okay.
David's clapping in the living room.
Because I was just thinking, like, oh my God, those are going to be huge. And I'm like, wait, she didn't put baking powder.
She didn't add anything in there.
No leavening. Okay, this is the leavening. 1.5.
I'd sprinkle it over the top, like try.
And then I'm going to try to mix it. Okay.
There it is.
Foldy.
You got this. You got this.
Just we started talking.
We're here for you.
Get off no cardamom and I forget it all.
You're welcome. Someone saying thank you, Lisa. You're welcome.
Yeah, see? The redemption happens the very next day.
Okay, so luckily this is pretty light, so we're gonna.
You don't need salt. No salt. Salt.
She did salt.
I did salt.
Oh, that's right. You did the HOLLIE.
My orange
Okay.
salt. Okay. Okay, that's gonna save the day. That's gonna turn these from hockey pucks to muffins, people. It's gonna be like a miracle.
And then she would have had the gluten-free ones and went, these are delicious.
Oh.
They're much better.
This is why I don't bake. This is why I don't bake. Okay. All right. I think we're it's close enough. Okay. All right. Let's get. Where are my?
Make sure you mix it because like
I did. I mixed
one muffin and none others.
Okay. If you know what else would be a nice hit in there too, if you had it as a zest of an orange.
My salt, my seasoning salt I put in here has orange zest in it.
Oh,
so
good. Yeah, I love to put zest in muffins.
Great
you
mind.
can also add raisins to this or currants. I mean, I got a lot of stuff happening. There's a lot of flavors happening here, but feel free to improvise. This is going to be. I mean, this is heavy nuts. This is going to have a lot of.
Hey, Lisa, did you ever when this old Santa Fe baking company was open? Did you? My favorite thing in there was the Pueblo pie, and that's apples, raisins, walnuts. And they added something else, like some other kind of fruit, I think. And it was in a pastry about like thick like this. The pastry was pretty thin and the inside was just basically the fruit and the nuts. And so I always convinced myself that I was having a food group.
Right.
And
it was
not
I remember that there and it was delicious, but I didn't know it was called the Pueblo pie.
Pueblo pie.
I didn't know it
so
was.
good.
But
that's
what foods remind me of because they're so appley and nutty and but this definitely had raisins in it.
Yum.
Yeah, it's
like
super good.
This is a great thing to have for breakfast because it has so much nutrients in it.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the good part about brunch. You can make a lot of excuses for eating basically dessert.
Oh, hi.
Cashew saying hi.
Hi, Cashew.
Hi. Oh my God. So beautiful.
Okay, we did it. That's it. Okay, so it's all in the muffin tins, and I'm just going to go back and even it out a little bit and make sure every one, since that's what I love about the scooper, which I don't have, is it really does make an even distribution because as I'm observing my work here, it's not very even. So I'm gonna go fix it.
Holly, how many muffins does that recipe make?
1 dozen. Okay, so this is a dozen.
Okay, so you just have to distribute it evenly between.
Well,
Yeah, because you don't want you want them all to have the same cooking time. If one, if one's smaller than the other, then you're going to get one will cook faster and it may burn, and the other one will be a little raw. I did learn that on the British baking show, by the way. Okay, that's a tip from the Brits. Okay, I think we're about right here. I'll take a picture of the before and the after and post it. And I will.
So they're going in the oven for how long?
They go in for, what did we say, 20 minutes.
And do you do the toothpick thing to check them?
Yeah, they go for 20 minutes at 400. So it's a pretty high heat. Like I said, these are very heavy on the nut department and the fruit department. So
do you do the toothpick check?
I do the toothpick check. Yes, I got toothpicks. I'll check it.
Or a knife.
I do the smell check. You can smell it when they're done.
Smell check.
Yeah.
Smell check.
Okay. Yes, I probably do have 3 or 4 different size scoopers. You are correct, whoever said that.
Thank you.
It's a true story.
I think I got it. See, the trick, of course, is getting the.
I am so shocked. Call me shocked.
Okay.
You know why, Debriana. You know.
I know. I have a thing. I like now. I collect ice cream scoops because they're all different.
They're cool.
The old syrup containers, the old syrup, things with the like Bakelite handles. They're so cute.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll see if I can find it.
Here, she's gonna go get them right now. Let's see what she got.
Oh my God, this show is just gonna get longer and longer. People are like, I just want to know how to bake the muffins.
This one is my favorite one, and it's really old. It's an antique.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
Isn't it cool? It's my favorite.
Love that. I love that's very Corona Kitchen style.
It is. I'll put it in the logo. Okay, so here you go. Here
there it is. You did it.
So I'll take a before picture. I'll take one after, and I'll actually take a picture of one of my kids eating it. And if they're smiling, it's good. If they're like, and you'll know it was a total disaster.
That sounds like a good plan.
I'm pretty confident in these, though. I have to say, these are pretty baking idiot proof. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. So.
That's right. Anybody can do this. Everybody should try.
And muffins just make you happy. So make them because you need it. Everybody does.
Yep. Okay. So here are our things for you people. Okay. Hollie's homegrown. That would be Hollie. And we are asking you to, do some things. Lisa also loves moveon.org. I like Swing Left and lastweekends.org and Spinal Tap Reunion, October 14th. Woo! It's good.
It's gonna be so funny.
Oh my God.
So
all right. Well, thank you for the therapy. I mean,
I
appreciate it.
She couldn't have done this without you, Lisa.
I really needed to bake. These would have been hockey pucks without the powder in them. So the baking powder. So.
They're going to be delicious.
Yay.
They're You're welcome.
Thank you, Hollie. Hollie's homegrown. Thanks, you guys. Thank you, everyone who joined us